To Project Didi's annual general meeting 2025. It seems completely outrageous that we are this end of the pointy end of the year, but alas, here we are again. I just want to thank you all so much for taking the time. You have just heard me ranting about the feeling of the end of the year, and I feel that that's the general sentiment for most people. So I do appreciate you taking, a couple of hours in the middle of your week on a Wednesday evening to join us. We are incredibly grateful for everything you do and your contributions, and joining us for 2 hours on a Tuesday in the beginning of December is one of the things we are very thankful for. Um, so yes, thank you. And there is a Q&A box. So if anything pops up during that you're burning to ask questions, we will also have an opportunity through the actual presentation and the AGM to ask some questions. But use that Q&A box if you would like to throw any questions at us along the way. So let me just get us started. I want to start by recognizing that for all of us joining in Australia, at least, we are joining this meeting on unceded and stolen land. I would like to pay my respects to the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri people, which is the land now known as Canberra in Australia. And I want to pay my respects to elders past and present, and really take a moment to reflect on the gratitude I have to be able to work on this beautiful land, but also recognize that this land, comes with a very tainted and dark history, and feel very, very privileged to be able to work, live, and play on such beautiful land in Australia. I know most of you know about Project Didi, so I won't spend too much time running us through this, but I do think it's a really important moment for us to take and sort of take stock and really remind ourselves why we come together. Who is Project Didi, and what at our core are we about? So, we at our very core of the work we do, we are an organization that strives for futures of hope and dignity for survivors of trafficking and abuse. This abuse being primarily, being gender-based violence and gendered in nature. And for us, this is really achieved by partnering with local organizations, and we're going to be very fortunate to hear from one of our partner organizations tonight, Asha Nepal, as they talk to us about the future of their work going forward, and also reflect on the work they have been able to achieve over the past year. And in addition to partnering with local organisations in Nepal, our mission is also to work and advocate strongly within Australia and internationally on the continued issue of modern slavery and gender-based violence. And really be part of that movement that continues to raise awareness of this, and really shift the narrative that these issues don't exist in the world anymore, and really raise awareness that these are still very prominent and in many instances growing issues globally. So just to sort of reflect on the fact that that's who we are, and that's really what we are focused on and what we're about. And I think it's, often these meetings finish with a big thank you. And for us, it's the whole thing is this, we're starting and we're going to thank you all the way through. This is a big thank you to all of you. The work that we do at Project Didi is volunteer led, and it is absolutely not achievable without the generous contribution of our volunteers, and also the generous financial contribution of our many donors. So you will see here, these are just some of the people that we partner with and that we work alongside. But I did just want to do a very specific call out to some, key stakeholders and donors that we work with. So a certain sort of call out to the Netta and Norma Niven Endowment Foundation, and particular Maggie McKay, the Tall Foundation, the Relham Foundation. I'd like to also call out to Sophie Reynolds, Susan Tanner, and Christine May for their generosity in continuing to support the work that we do. Donna, our wonderful Donna at Fernwood Tuggeranong, for her continued and unwavering support and long-standing partnership. I feel like we need to bring Donna on as like an honorary Didi or something. Christy and Isabel at Arana School, the Steiner School in Canberra, for their hard work organising next year's school trip to Nepal. All of our volunteers, but a particular call out to Mimu, Haley, and Anna for their contributions this year. And also the incredible Open Garden fundraising organisers. So I think we'll talk a little bit about the Open Gardens tonight, but to Jill, Heather, and Liz and their army of friends and family, literally an army that made the open garden weekends possible. These have been a huge success, both financially, but I think just building the kind of network and community that we're so passionate about for Project Didi. So a really big call out to them. This is a really new and really great way for us to kind of engage with the wider community, particularly those that haven't necessarily had a lot of visibility into the work we do. So very, very thankful for their time. I'm going to now hand over to Chloe, our president, who's going to do a little bit of a reflection and a bit of a backward look and then a forward look about where we've come from and where we're heading. So over to you, Chloe.
Thanks, Kira, and hi everyone. Welcome to our 2025 AGM. It's been another big year, and we have lots to share with you over the next hour, including what is always the highlight. So, hearing directly from the wonderful women of Asha Nepal. But first, I'm going to kick off with a little bit of context building, including a brief update on what has been a pretty tumultuous year for Nepal. And then I'll share a few key highlights from Didi's year. So last year we celebrated a decade of Project Didi Australia, and as part of that celebration, I reflected on three key things across the last 10 years that really stood out to us as core achievements. Those were one, the importance of our commitment to being led by the needs of our Nepal-based partners, in particular Asha Nepal. And hi, I see you've arrived. So genuinely looking to the women and girls with the expertise and the lived experience that we're here to understand and support as our North Star, and taking advantage of the benefits of being a small, values-led nonprofit, that we can be reactive and agile in a way that other organizations can't be. The second is the professionalism of Didi as an organization, or the professionalization. So I think we punch well above our weight in terms of what we achieve and what we institute. And with our vision and our ambition, there is a lot of can-do attitude here. And the third significant thing we looked back on was our growing work in advocacy in our Australian community. So we've really evolved some key partnerships, such as the one that we have with Be Slavery Free, and with our communities and with our activities like the open gardens that Kira mentioned. We've really built genuine connection and understanding here in Australia of the specific challenges for women and girls in Nepal, but also how globally a lot of what precipitates the climate there is tied to what we do here as it is across the globe. So we're really more connected than one may initially suspect, and there's a lot of power and possibility in that connection. And I think it's worth repeating these three highlights, from the last 10 years tonight, because as we move into our second decade, and as we're now reflecting on that first year of our second decade, so 2025, we can really see that these three hallmarks of what makes Didi have continued and evolved and strengthened even more. So I do feel we set an intention when we highlighted these strengths, and that intention is continuing to bear fruit. So Kira, if you could go to the next slide, please. So a little bit of context about Nepal in 2025. So I'm sure everyone here probably is aware of this, but in early September, major protests broke out, not just in Kathmandu, but also across regional cities, led by young people who identified as Gen Z. So while initially initiated by a ban on social media, Gen Z raised broader concerns about corruption, unemployment, and poor governance in Nepal. And while the demonstration started off peacefully, police intervention resulted in the deaths of, I think it was over 70 people, and damage to public buildings. So Nepal's Prime Minister resigned, along with several ministers, and the country has now appointed a former Chief Justice as the interim Prime Minister. And she also happens to be the first woman in the role. She's Gen Z's pick, and she has a strong voice on anti-corruption. So Nepal plans to hold an election in March next year. And in Nepal, young people account for approximately 20% of the total population of the country. So that's the age group of 16 to 25 years, while 40% of the population lies in the age bracket of 16 to 40 years. So this is a major opportunity for Nepal, referred to as the demographic dividend. So the demographic dividend is really the economic growth potential from having a large, young, and working age population that has a low dependency ratio, which means fewer children and elderly per worker. And young people are the future. And in what we've seen, across this year in Nepal, is that young people are driven, entrepreneurial, and as the protests have shown, they're passionate and clear about the future that they want for Nepal. So they need to be better supported to be active participants in the country's decision making and future. And their discontent really stems from a lack of opportunities, limited employment pathways, which are driving people to leave the country. And that's what they've called the brain drain, and inequalities in education. So youth unemployment is at 20% in comparison to the youth unemployment rate in Australia, which is 9%. So our partners are focused on empowering young people to build strong futures, particularly those that are most impacted by the economic and social disadvantages. So given the, in some ways, inevitable disruption in Nepal this year, it's really heartening to know that we're supporting this emerging generation to thrive and be able to step into their agency and act on their vision for a strong and flourishing Nepal. So turning to what Didi has been doing over the last year, I'm just going to share a few key highlights that speak to those three significant themes that came out of our first decade, which I mentioned at the start. So in 2024 to 2025 financial year, we supported 22 children through family-based care. We continue to support several young people to pursue higher education, so that's undergraduate and postgraduate studies. And we even have one student who completed her MBA and will graduate early next year, which is so exciting. Internally, we also continue to strengthen our capability and sustainability as a small but mighty volunteer-run nonprofit by securing a top-tier global law firm to support us pro bono. So we've been working with them across the year on a couple of our sort of long-standing, trickier legal and compliance challenges, and that's been a really huge boon for us. We also brought on a fabulous new communications volunteer to support our mission in awareness raising, which, as I mentioned before, is another really important element of our strategy and impact. And there's lots more that's been evolving, and we're going to hear more about that shortly. And so I'm going to pass to Claire. Thanks, Claire.
Thanks, Chloe, and hi everyone. For those I haven't met, I'm Claire. I sit on the board of Project Didi, and I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about some of the highlights from the last year in terms of our impact with our partners in Nepal. And I see that Yashoda and Sonu have joined us. Namaste. I won't talk for too long because I want to introduce them, and we'll do a bit of a Q&A to talk about some of the developments that have happened at Asha Nepal over the past year. But first, Kira, if you can go to the next slide, I'll just cover a couple of the key highlights. So we've been really proud to work with Asha Nepal for more than 10 years now. And a core value of what we do at Project Didi, which, as Kira said at the beginning, is around supporting locally led development. And so all of the programs we support, both at Asha Nepal and our partner out in the east of Nepal, Samanat, are completely designed and delivered by them, by their team of mostly women. And we direct funding to their needs based on the needs of the women and girls that they support. So over the past few years, as Chloe mentioned, we have been focusing on family-based care, and I know many of you are quite familiar with that. I won't go into what family-based care is about, but essentially, in a nutshell, it is about supporting children who have experienced trafficking or a form of gender-based violence, or family violence who are unable to return home, and it provides interim care until they can be reintegrated either with their family or into independent living in the community. So it mirrors as closely as possible the family environment, with a house mother and around 5 children within a home, and provides that kind of consistency in care that allows children to thrive. And that's been our support for Asha Nepal for the majority of those 10 years. But over the last year, they have made a shift in their programs from a focus on family-based care to moving more towards a community development and resilience model focused on strengthening families within the community. And this has really been based on their work listening to the women and girls that they support, the needs they've identified, and some of the evolving changes in the communities that they work with. So I won't go into all the details because I've got several questions for them to talk through, but it's been a big change that we've been really proud to support them with in the first year of the transition. It really reflects the survivor-centric approach that they take to their work. When we first started out at Project Didi, we actually worked with Asha Nepal to transition from a bigger group home model with all children in one home to the smaller family-based care model, and now to the family strengthening, supporting families within the community. So Asha has really made some pretty bold, innovative, and sometimes at times challenging decisions to shift their programs, but they've always been in the best interests of the women and girls they support. So we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment, but just a couple of the highlights from the past year. So the first is around, Chloe touched on this, we've been really thrilled, thanks to a couple of very generous donors, to be able to support young people to pursue their education goals. So we initially started with 10 education scholarships. As Chloe flagged, several of those have graduated. So we're supporting 5 students at the moment, several in university degrees, one in psychology, one in ICT, one doing chartered accountancy, and one finishing year 12. And then, as Chloe mentioned, one student is graduating from her MBA early next year. A core part of what Asha Nepal does is also around supporting survivors to rebuild their resilience and rehabilitate after experiencing trauma. And they do a lot of counselling, both for children and mothers within the community. I just wanted to pull out one example from the last year that Asha shared that I think is really brilliant. It's a program that they're a part of called Common Thread. And it's a series of therapeutic sessions for children that uses art and textile or thread-based activities to build resilience in trauma survivors. And in the past year, one of the young people at Asha's story, so her creation, her textile creation called Trust Your Soul, was selected for an international showcase for its depth and insight. And you can see the children there down on the left of the screen holding up the artworks that they've put together. And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, we have been supporting Asha Nepal with this big transition that they're making to family strengthening and community resilience. And so those that know our work know that most years Asha Nepal will reintegrate several children within family-based care. So the goal is never long-term care, but ultimately that they can return to their families and community. But in the past year, they have reintegrated a lot of children in preparation for doing the more community-based work. So they've had 13 children reintegrated. And then within the next year, we will be supporting a transitional home, which is just the final family-based care home that's being kept open for several of the young people that are still finishing their school, rather than transitioning during that time when you're in the final stages of school and major exams. They will stay in family-based care until they're ready to be reintegrated into the community. So Kira, if you go to the next slide, thank you. I might introduce Sonu and Yashoda. I don't know if Simriti's there, but off screen. But it's so great to have you both here. We're really thrilled you could join our AGM. It's so much better to hear directly from you rather than secondhand from us. I have a couple of questions I'm going to ask, but I'd really encourage anyone that's joined the call, please put any questions you have for the Asha Nepal team in the Q&A. This is really the opportunity to hear from them directly. So, and we've got quite a bit of time, so please put anything that comes to mind in there and I'll make sure we ask it. But namaste, welcome.
Namaste, everyone.
Lovely to see you both. I might start by
you.
maybe if you could introduce yourselves and just share your role at Asha Nepal.
Namaste, I'm Yasudha Gimire. I'm Admin Finance Manager in Asha Nepal. Thank you. Namaste, everyone. My name is Sonu Thapa, and I work as a case manager at Asha Nepal. Thank you.
Thank you both. It's so good to have you here. I wanted to start with just understanding a little bit about what the situation is like in Nepal at the moment. And Chloe mentioned at the beginning that there were protests in September. There's been quite a lot of political upheaval and uncertainty. And I know that some of that's been challenging for Asha to deliver your programs. So what's the situation like at the moment in Nepal? How have you found it?
Okay, so since the protest, as it was supposed to be a silent protest, it was supposed to be a peaceful protest, but somehow it turned to be a violent one. So the Gen Z group, they have created a revolution in Nepal, and they have fought back with the corruption here in Nepal. So likewise, we did face a lot of difficulties. Many perpetrators were out. So there were safety concern also. So as well as due to which there was many perpetrators were out. So likewise, the beneficiaries we served with, so they one perpetrators they were in the family. So with the like-minded organization and with the help of police authorities, we have put him up in the custody again. So yeah, this was the achievement. And also here in Nepal, the situation here in Nepal, many food items has been out of stock after the protest. So yeah, it is so economically, financially, and socially, it has been creating a lot of instability. So hopefully, after the election, we can see a positive movement. Okay.
Well,
Okay. So here, so at talking about Asha Nepal, we have been closely monitoring with the families for the safety concern also.
have you been able to return to doing all of your programs? I know at the beginning when the protests first broke out, there were several curfews in Nepal and
Yes.
you weren't able
Yes.
to travel around Kathmandu, but everything now is gone back to normal.
Yeah, everything is normal now.
That's good to hear. And we'll definitely all be watching what happens in March and hope that it
Yeah,
brings
we are
some,
looking forward to it.
yeah, hope it brings some stability and answers.
Yes.
And Sonu and Yashoda, let's talk a bit about the family strengthening program and the transition from family-based care. So why is Asha Nepal making that transition at the moment?
So why this transition is because we feel the need, yeah, as we all know, family-based care homes, shelter homes, and alternative care are considered as a last resort, as a last option everywhere. So like we felt the need that the children are better with their families so that they can understand their culture, know the importance of the family, and have a rapport with the families and their parents as well. So it's not like we in the family based care approach, like it's not like we did provide a crucial support, but for the need, but for the children to know the need of the families, it is always better to be with the families. So why this family is strengthening is because we think that this approach can bring a more long term stability for children and also prevent separation and promote long-term stability for children within the families. Yeah, and with that, we can also reach to more number of needy children. So we're thinking about strengthening.
Yeah, you can expand the scope of your work as well and reach more of those in the community. And can you just give us an overview of the program? What type of activities will you be doing in family strengthening? So just for those on the call, all of the family-based care homes will eventually be closed down, and the children have already been, many have been reintegrated with their families or in the community, and you'll continue to support many of those children. But can you share with us just a bit of an overview of some of the activities that will be part of the Family Strengthening Program?
So as we continue to do this in keeping family safe in community, we'll also be continuing those activities in the family strengthening as well. So likewise, we have activities like we just concluded our common thread second phase. So it has been concluded with the children. So likewise, we have family awareness programs as well, and we have financial literacy programs so that the children can have an idea about money management and financial literacy so that they can have an idea about that. And we also have awareness programs going on. So recently we are doing a 16 days activism against gender-based violence. So yeah, we have just done yesterday. We just did an awareness program on mental health and gender-based violence. So yeah, we have been working on that, and as well as we are also continuing our acrobatic classes.
Yeah, we also provided mental health awareness and menstrual hygiene orientation to our beneficiaries, parents. They found it very positive.
And so, and we should say, as you said, Sonu, so this is not a brand new program for Asha Nepal.
Yes, yes.
Asha has been running a program for a number of years now called Keeping Families Safe in the Community.
Yes.
And so this is just an expansion of that program, and replacing some of the family-based care activities with the work that you've already been doing with families in the community.
Yes.
And can I ask as well, I know that part of the component is also supporting families that are going through difficult times or might need some kind of emergency assistance, or so that what would that look like? Is that medical support or support for families that can't find income at the moment?
So yes, we will obviously continue with that also. So Claire, what I wanted to say is we'll continue with those services as well. So in cases of emergency in health or in fooding and providing rent, we'll support them. And also we are also helping the families through family strengthening. We are also providing family with the income generation support so that the family can have an income stability. So yeah, we'll continue with that as well. So yeah, regular follow-ups through phone follow-up, or social workers do home visit regularly. That will be continue, and all the emergency social supports will be provided to them.
So it's about giving them the stability to be able to then also participate in those programs to rebuild their mental health and well-being and develop skills to find employment or education opportunities. Yeah. Okay. And so can we ask about the children that have been reintegrated from family-based care? So how has the reintegration from family-based care been going? And will you continue to support these children as part of the family strengthening?
Yes, obviously we'll continue with the support, and this year the reintegration has been successful. So altogether we reintegrated 13 children this year with their biological families, and among them 2 children could not be reintegrated to their families due to various reasons. So for them we have referred those 2 children to the long-term organization who provide residential care.
Yeah, and we will definitely provide all the services they need from ASA.
Continue to support them.
Before the reintegration, we prepare the family and the children both so that we can have a smooth transition after the reintegration.
Yeah, and you already have been doing that. You already do that as part of your reintegration anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. And can I ask how did the children take the news when you told them that you were closing down the family-based care homes and moving to a different model?
At the beginning, they were not accepting that because they wanted to stay in shelter. And slowly, when we reintegrated them, we found they are adapting in the society. Some of them miss the facilities provided in shelter, but in overall, they are happy.
Yes, they are happy and they are adjusting. They are knowing the real world. They
Yeah.
are adjusting with the families, adapting with the new environment they have been set into. So yeah, it
The
is
bonding
Mm.
between parents and children is being increased.
That's good to hear. Yeah, it must be a big transition for them and a huge adjustment,
Yes.
a big change for them to have to make. Um, and so for children, because many that entered family-based care in the first place was because there was no other options for them in Nepal if they needed longer term care after experiencing trauma. So what options now are there for children in Nepal now that you're moving to family strengthening? Do you work with other organisations where you could refer children that might still need long-term care?
Yes, we obviously work with the other partner organization. So here in Nepal, we have short home services as well. So yeah, small group homes has been created with the within the organization and by the government. So for the short period of time, they will be staying there. So yeah, so and also there are other organization as well who provide long-term residential support as well.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so there's still options for them if they need, for some
Yes,
children that need care.
we do have in a limited numbers, but we have.
But I've heard also the situation, there's been some changes within government in Nepal to improve some of the child protection services and
Yes, they
child
are
welfare.
making the guideline. Currently, they are working on the guidelines of alternative care, and they are also focusing on the kinship care guideline as well. So they will provide, if not alternative care or if not being reintegrated with the family, they will obviously work with the kinship care as well.
Mm.
So yeah,
And
we
there's
are
been
looking forward to that guideline.
that will be good. It'll make improvements because
Yes,
it's a move more towards keeping children with their families and working with them in
yes,
community rather than putting them into care.
yes.
And Sonia and Yashoda, I wanted to ask a bit about, we mentioned the Common Thread workshop earlier, but what other kinds of activities you're planning for next year or the coming years for children as part of the Family Strengthening Program?
So like I said earlier, we are also planning. So next from next year, we'll also be doing the um, we'll be doing an
Reunion meeting, a reunion type of meeting with the reintegrated children.
so that we can have a close follow up with them and also know about their needs. So I think this will be the important highlight so that we can have an idea overview of what they want after the reintegration process. We are looking forward to it, and also we'll also be providing vocational training support as well so that they can have employment opportunities. We are also partnering with the other organization as well. So after their higher education and also after they complete their um, class 10, we have been partnering with the other organization for vocational training. So among them, two three children have got an internship in the very big hotels here in Nepal, and they're working over there.
That's great. And so the reintegration, it will be you'll bring all children together that have been reintegrated over the years
Yes,
at one
yes, we
time.
do that on the quarterly basis.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
But this will be like a big reunion for the year.
yes, yes,
That'll be so nice for them as well to all see each other if they
yeah,
haven't seen each other in a while.
Yes.
And then you'll use that to identify what their needs are
yes, yes.
for the coming year. Okay. And I have a question here that was sent in from one of the members of our Project Didi community who couldn't make it tonight. She really wanted to, and she wanted to meet you both. But she has been a long-term supporter of education. And she wanted to ask a bit about what education support will be part of the Family Strengthening Project. Will you be supporting children in schools? And then she also had a follow-up question around, and I can repeat this, but around any of the young people you're supporting now, what goals do they have for education?
So education has always been a core focus of Asha Nepal. So likewise, family strengthening focuses mainly on the education. So talking about education, will be supporting them um, in every academic year through payment of the fees, and also we will be providing learning materials and stationery. Coaching classes, tuition classes will also be provided for the children, and as well as those children who are little bit behind academically, we'll also be providing them with the tuition and coaching classes as well. And also vocational training involvement will also be there, so that we can prepare them for employment opportunities. Sorry, I didn't get your last question. What did you ask us?
So it was a long
Can
one.
I cover, or I need to add in something?
I was going to ask, so for young people, children and young people you're supporting currently, for those that are, finishing their school in year 12, what goals do they have? Do any of them want to go to university or do other study?
Mm, So currently there's no anyone, I guess. So if there's any, we will let you know.
Okay. None at the moment. So none at the end of their school.
No,
That
no.
I know that there
They're
are.
continuing with their education. So their academic year is going on.
Yeah, okay. So none at the moment at that point. I know that we are supporting 6 girls next year
Yeah.
who are finishing their schooling, but they won't have completed that until the end of next year, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So just a couple, 2 more questions from me. Kira, how am I going on time? I'm okay? Yeah, okay. So I just wanted to ask, we've talked a lot about the women and children in family strengthening, but obviously there's been a lot of change underway at ASHA over the past few years, or over the past year, and will be over the next few years, which can be challenging for staff. And we've talked about, some of the practices you've been putting in place to prevent staff burnout. So I wanted to ask you about any of the challenges that staff are experiencing with this transition and what steps you're taking to address that.
So as we know, as you all know, we work with the vulnerable children and families. So dealing with them on the daily basis, it does bring an emotional stress within us. So dealing with them, and also during the transition phase, we faced a lot of confusion within the roles, like roles conflict, role conflict, because we have been dealing with, we are serving 125 children. So we only had 4 social workers at the moment. So dealing with them, it was a very conflicting as well. So yeah, we had a meeting. So we divided the cases with the 4 social workers,
and the roles were clear to all social workers.
So yeah, so dealing with the staff burnout, we felt the need, like there should be a supervision session. So we are running supervision session monthly with the
staff
supervisor.
supervision.
With the supervisor as well. So regular team briefings are there, and we have also planned care for caregivers training, and we have also completed trauma informed care training, and we have been also focusing on the mental health of staffs. So self care practices has been encouraged to the staffs as well.
Yeah, and also we take our staffs for a staff refreshment tour once a year.
Is this a picnic you do, or is that the picnic with the children?
With
You go on a
children,
big outing?
yeah, only staff for staff
Only staff.
refreshment.
Yeah.
I know I've seen that you've been on, or you've told me about treks that you've been on, short treks or time away for staff to just be able to recuperate.
Yeah.
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 We get charged and come back to work more energetically.
But yeah, it's good. You need that. It is. It's that the job that you're doing is very, as you say, it can be emotionally draining for you. So last question from me. So if anyone else on the call has anyone on the board or anyone attending, please put them in the chat or ask them at the end. But I just wanted to, you've had so many stories from women and girls of incredible impact over the many years of family-based care. that we've been really proud to support. Could you share one or two of those stories with us?
I think I'll just share one story with you. So it's
Sure.
about a child. She came to Asha Nepal at the family-based care home when she was 8 years old. So yeah, she is a rape survivor. So she came to Asha Nepal through various referrals from other organizations. So after coming at the shelter care, she had the problem of bed waiting. So we also follow up with the doctors as well. So her problem, as she was just 8 years old, it was very hard for her to deal with the daily things, and also she was very scared at the moment due to her trauma. So her trauma has caused bedwetting as well. When we showed her to the doctor during the follow-up, he said that eventually it will be fine, but we need to work together. So yeah, so we did regular follow-up with the doctors as well, and also our psychosocial counselor, and as well as with the support of house mothers. Her bedwetting problem has been gone, and she has been successfully reintegrated this year with her family, and she's been adjusting well, and also she's doing well academically. And also from this year we are providing support to her brother through family strengthening. Yeah. So it is just a brief case study that I've shared with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And I think it shows the kind of work that you do in counseling, the support. How old is she now?
She's absolutely fine, and her heart problem is gone. How old is she? Oh,
Uh,
she's 12 years old, 11
she's
years old, sorry.
she's 11 years old. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So she was 8 when she joined Asha, and that's great to hear. She's been reintegrated with her family,
Yeah.
and everything is going well.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sonu and Yashoda. I really appreciate you joining us. I think
Our pleasure.
if you're happy to stay on the call just for a few more minutes, and then
Sure.
if anyone has any questions, please do feel free to put them in the Q&A, which is just down the bottom of your screen. There's a little Q&A box, and we can ask any of those and come back to you. But thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Kira, I might get you to move to the next slide. Oh, I just updated this. So that's the highlighted section. It's obviously something's not carrying across, but I'll just say it verbally. So I just wanted to share before I hand over to the next speaker, just to talk a little bit about our Women Empowering Women trips to Nepal, which many of you have been on. So in the past year, we've partnered with Samanat Nepal, which is our other partner in the East, to develop a new trip for women by women, which travels out to the east of Nepal. And we've run one of those trips in March last year, and then we had a second one in November last year. And it's a group of like-minded women that get together. They visit Asha Nepal, meet with the team, hear about the work they do. They do a cooking class with the house mothers in the family-based care home, and then they travel out to the east, which is an area where really very few tourists go. It's on the border with India, on the plains part of Nepal, and they then meet with the women at Samanat Nepal, our other partner, and take part, as you can see there, in a jewelry workshop in the photo, making the beautiful polymer clay jewelry that the Samanat ladies make. So we had great feedback from the November 2024 trip that included, learning about the work, meeting with the women, and the gift of traveling with like-minded women. I really loved that quote. And we raised, that should say, $11,000 for our partners. So the other key part of our trips to Nepal is that there's a fundraising component, and these are really vital in supporting the work of both of our partners in Nepal. For 2026, we have several trips that are planned. So we're continuing our partnership with Fernwood Tuggeranong, the women's gym in Canberra. And we've got trips that include treks in both the Annapurna region and the Everest region. And then we've also got a trip planned with Arana School in Canberra. So part of our youth to youth program that will be going in April next year. So I put a QR code there if anyone's interested in learning more about our trips, if you want to go to our website. And then, Kira, if you just move to the next slide, I just wanted to share this quote, which is from Sally, who went on our November trip last year. So she said, life is tough in Nepal for most people, and learning how caste, poverty, the challenging physical environment, and the social dislocation are impacting this country is not easy, but important and eye-opening. I will hold the memories and better able to connect with the many Nepali Australians I have in my community, will do what I can to educate others, and I'm very grateful for the experiences this trip gave me. And I wanted to include that one because it highlights that the trips, the Women Empowering Women trips, are really not just about us giving through the fundraising, but really also about the group that goes learning. And we find that the group that goes often learns just as much as we're able to give from the time they're meeting with Asha Nepal and Samana. So I think before I hand over, there's 2 questions in the chat for Sonu and Yashoda, if I can just go back to you. So Mary was asking, are any of the girls that you supported from in family-based care in the early days, do any of them now have their own families?
Yes, they are supporting from the family-based care home, as most children are small in age, so they are continuing their education as well. And before, yes, some of them are supporting their families as well. Some of them have gone to abroad for higher studies and as well as supporting their families as well.
So some of them have children
Some of them are
themselves.
supporting, yes.
Yeah, okay. And I imagine you see that multi-generational impact where, because they've been supported through Asha, their children now go to school and better outcomes as well. Mary, was that your question? Did I get that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then just one final question. The women who worked at as house mothers in family-based care, what are they doing now that you've transitioned to family strengthening?
So yeah, we made sure that before the family-based care runs out, we close it. We made sure that they all the house mothers get the job. So yeah, so we did we in partnership with the municipality. We did a 3-month Montessori training programs. So we enrolled one of our mothers there, and she has got job on the host as a hostel supervisor, and as well as one of the mother is working as a daycare supervisor at a Montessori school, and as well as one mother is working as a domestic house worker at India. So all of them are employed and thriving.
That's good to hear. Okay, I will hand back. Thank you to Kira. Thank you so much, Sono and Yashoda. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, and thank you to the wonderful Asha team. It's always so incredible to hear. Oh, hello, Mini Didi. So great to have you on, Elio. And yeah, just really grateful to hear your reflections. We are so proud of the work that you guys have done and that we've been able to support over the past 10 years. And we are incredibly excited for what's to come for this new program journey, and an absolute credit to the organization for recognizing the need for change and to kind of move with that. And I think you should be really proud of that. We're now going to move on to, look, from my personal perspective, slightly less interesting. No offense, Mary. But we've heard wonderful stories. If you can make financials as inspiring as what the Asha team have made, then credit to you. But we're going to move across to Mary for some the financial report for 24-25.
Okay. Part of the objectives we've been having for the last few years is building up to a 12-month reserve. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is to give Asha Nepal sort of that, long-term planning. They know where the funding's coming. It also gives flexibility for if there's any changes, like we're able to respond, say, the transitioning help and so on and so forth. So that's important. Also, what we found is we're hoping it will support the relationship with the government, because the government is looking for reassurances that your activities are going to be sustainable through ongoing support. So it's part of our role too, is to support your efforts in that. So we're happy that basically the cash balances between the 2 years, last year and this year, are very similar. And that's with a lot of some of the major expenses for the transition. So we're looking forward to that. Just to note, the GDG note you had there, we have finished that relationship. There was some remaining funds that have been used now, and we terminated that relationship because we got our DGR status, which allows us to actually directly manage the money and reduces the fees. Okay, next. This one is just an analysis of the income. You can see, like I said, we definitely really appreciate our large donors that come in with a fair amount of money on that. Also, the Nepal trips are in there. You will see that the events, that was the Open Gardens, which Claire has actually mentioned. It is now a major funding source, accounting for about 16% of our total funds on that one. And we continue with some of the jewelry sales, which I still love from Salmonat. I might have to buy out all the remaining stock. And so that's, like I said, just a bit very similar to last year. Can we have the next one? The expenses, basically, we really try to keep our expenses down. As you can see, only about 2%. And that's, of course, based on the fact that we have all the volunteers and the pro bono support and things that we're actually supporting there. So that's a bit of a recap of that. The next one. This is the use of funds by Asha, even though there's the transition, very similar pattern to last year where almost half the expenses were home expenses, but also the education and life skills, as you've both talked about those activities, the program staff and administrative. I imagine next year it might be slightly different because of the change in the model to the strengthening communities, but we'll take a look at where that goes next year. Okay. This is just for everyone to be aware of the income statements, the formal income statements. As Kara said, they're not exactly mind-blowing exciting, but they are a necessary part of getting the funds to Asha Nepal. So, like I said, that is for the details. As we said, we've gone through some of those, the larger donors, the events, etc. We did have the other one this year. We're just wrapping that one up, and we'll have some next AGM. We'll be discussing the results from those. And that again is just our financial position, which shows, like I said, we do have a strong cash balance, which is important to have, like I said, to support. So Asha Nepal's not worried about next month, will we get the money from Project Didi? It will be there. And I think that's about it. Oh, that's it from me. Any questions on the financials?
No questions, but I would like to pay deep respect to your financial amazingness, Mary, and I mean no disrespect in
accountants rule the world, right?
They really do. They really do. Yeah, I will never rule the world. So any other questions or comments from anybody? Okay, I'm going to hand over to Alison as we proceed with retiring and re-electing office bearers. Over to you, Alison.
Thanks, Kira, and thanks, Mary, for the financial statements. As an accountant, I'm massively excited by that. So now we're going to come on to the kind of AGM business side. So again, not perhaps totally exciting, but we'll try and make it so. So the first thing we have to do is with our current board members, as part of our constitution, each year have to resign and stand for re-election. So we do this process. So in overview, so Chloe as our president, myself as secretary, and Claire and Kira, Claire as member and vice president, and Kira as board member, are all resigning and will stand for re-election, which we'll do that process in a moment. And we're very sad to say that Mary, as our treasurer, is actually resigning from that post. So I think we'd all agree that Mary has been absolutely fantastic on our board, both as a treasurer and just for the wider strategic light she brings to the team. So, thanks so much, Mary, and we're really sorry to lose you. But we do have exciting news that we have recruited a new treasurer to take over from Mary. So that's Hema, and we are officially going to be appointing her into the role today. So that is something I think is exciting in this section. So I'll now do the kind of process bit. So for everybody on the board who's resigning and is now standing for re-election, we just need somebody to formally propose them and second them for re-election to the role. So I'll start with Chloe. If I can have someone to propose Chloe as president.
I'm happy to propose.
I'm happy to
Thank you.
second.
Okay, great. Could you just say your names when you say it on this, for the record?
Oh,
So who
please
was
say your name.
proposing?
Claire's proposing.
Kira's seconding.
Okay, thank you very much. Duly re-elected. And then for myself, standing for re-election as secretary.
Mary,
Kira.
I'll nominate.
Thanks, Mary.
Kira to second.
Thanks, Kira. Thank you very much. And then Claire as a board member and vice president. I'm happy to propose Claire. Someone like to second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Mary.
Thank you, Mary. And for Kira as board member.
Claire, happy to propose.
And Alison,
Second.
I'll
Mary.
second that. Oh, a lot of people there, Kira, so a vote of confidence. And finally, I'd like to formally propose that Hema is appointed into the role as treasurer. So
Mary, I'll nominate.
Thank you, Mary. Another vote of confidence there for Hema. And I will.
And Hema.
Kira to
Hema
second.
is actually
Kira to second.
Hema is actually attending. So hi, Hema, and thank you.
Hi, Hema.
Yeah, hi Emma. And sorry, I realized I didn't send you a panelist link for this, so I don't believe you can talk, but we're very pleased to have you here.
Too bad you can't deny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indeed. So very, very welcome, Emma, and we're really super pleased that you're joining the board. So thank you very much, everybody. So that's the first little piece of business. So we now have our board in place for the coming year. And the second piece of formal business is that each year, according to our constitution, we have to make people aware of any changes in our constitution that have been made during the year, and then formally re-adopt the constitution. So we can say that during this year, it's pretty straightforward. There have been no changes to the constitution. So I'll just pause a little and ask if anybody's got any questions about the constitution or this piece of business. If you have, do the hand raise or the chat. So I'll take that as a no. So in that case, so I will propose that we formally re-adopt the constitution for the coming year. Can someone second that?
I'll second that. Sorry, I was on mute.
Who was that, sorry?
Claire to second.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that was painless and some would say exciting, and it wraps up the formal business of the AGM. So I'll hand back to Kira.
Thanks, Alison. And thank you. I agree. The loss of Mary is very sad, but the appointment of Hema is a thrilling part of this AGM. So this basically closes out the AGM. I do want to just take a moment. We have noted that Mary is finishing up with us, and I just want to take a moment to Really, thank you, Mary. You have supported Project Didi's work for, I think, more than the last 6 years in multiple roles and capacities. Your contribution to financial governance is absolutely commended, as is your contribution to self-funding the jewelry collection from Samanat. And whilst you may no longer contribute to financial governance of Project Didi, we hope that you continue to make funding contributions via your purchasing of the Summonat Jewelry Collection. We wish you the very best in your next endeavour. I have been sort of saying to people when we were doing interviews for the Treasurer, you're actually going to start to take retirement seriously and maybe take some time for yourself. The busiest retired person I've ever met in my entire life. You will always be such an important member of Project Didi, an honorary Didi for life, and we're so thankful for everything that you've contributed, and we just wish you the very best on your next journey.
Thank you very much. I'll put that on my CV.
An honorary Didi, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. We really hope you leave this meeting with a continued confidence in the work that we do and that we deliver as Project Didi, and also a feeling of personal achievement for your contributions towards safer and more dignified futures for women and girls in Nepal. As I said at the beginning, and I don't think we can ever say enough, your contributions, your work, your commitment to this organization is what make it possible, and we are forever grateful. Thank you so much, and namaste, and have a wonderful evening, morning, depending on where you are in the world. And a Merry Christmas if this is a holiday that you celebrate.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.